Shut up and sit down.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Epic Fail, episode 178. Good Lord, I say that every time, but every time I'm like, that's a high number. It's almost as high as my IQ. Anyway, with me this week, as promised, Galv is back. Galv, how you doing?
Not bad, not bad, not bad. It's been an exciting week.
It's been an interesting week, yeah.
Yeah.
A good, bad, sore, tired, ugly, all the above.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And just before anyone panics, I am going to be growing the beard back, but I was trimming down for a snowmobile weekend, and my girlfriend asked me to trim it into a big handlebar mustache. And I indulged her. But I'm like, this is going to go before I go back to work this weekend. So, it's not suitable for work. So I had to get rid of that. Speaking of which, what happened to you?
What happened to me? The short version is many days of shoveling a lot of snow. And as such, what little protection I had, I just let it keep coming out for the wind, because I don't normally get cold unless I'm outside in like 30 degree or below temperatures for hours and hours at a time. So I put my lightweight jacket on because it was just enough that I could use that, because I don't want to use my great big coat for shoveling snow because it's a freaking leather duster.
You scruffy looking nerf herder.
Who's a nerf herder?
Hey. All right.
But yeah, so that's what this is. This is facial protection from wind chill. It is not.
I'm curious.
It is not going to stay. I do not like it.
If right now of the three of us, Theory's got the best facial hair.
Well, generally speaking, that would probably be a yes. But anyway, what have you been up to this week outside of, snow stuff?
So, the big stuff. I got back in town from a snowmobiling weekend with no snow, so it was basically just scooting on a lake. Never done it before, so that was exciting. Frankly, digging into the new raid in A Battle for Azeroth. Or are we on? I guess the Tides of Vengeance is the. I don't know what the hell. Well, they call it, but Dazalore is the new Dazalore. Dazar'alor. And that's been an interesting and I think productive week one so far, although we've still got a Monday night closer to get through. Hanging out with kids, dealing with work. So yeah. How about you?
Well, in terms of just gaming related stuff, because I have the usual dealing with relatives, doctor's appointments there, watching the dogs for my mom, all that fun stuff. Shoveling for two different people. Not getting paid nearly enough for it, but things are what they are. Gaming related. One, I was in the raid. We got about half of it first night, which for our group is actually not bad.
Solid.
Yeah, I would have liked that. I would have liked it if people understood. Oh, circles. Yeah, we've had that mechanic before. Maybe we should actually do the same thing as before. But that aside, it only took like 8 attempts to figure out, oh, if we kill the totem, we don't have to kill the MC'd person. I'm like, yeah, I've been fighting the totem this whole time because I saw the little squiggly line going from it to the person who was MC'd.
Which
Stood
is
to
pretty
reason.
funny.
But, just itty bitty little nitpicky things like that, which, it happens. So there's that. I turned on war mode for the third time, I think, this expansion. It was,
Yeah.
I level 400 piece, so I was like, yeah, I'll do that. So
that conversation will come back later.
yeah. So I think it
I
was
still have to do
Wednesday.
that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's still available, but I still have to do it.
It's a weekly.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Because, yeah.
So Wednesday, I had just enough time earlier in the day. I did 5 time walkings, and the reason I did that was the 385 gear for the quest. I did war mode for that quest, kill 25 Alliance or Horde, depending on what faction you're on. I found a group in the group finder for it, and we went to the docks for the raid over in Zuldazar. We were literally in the Horde capital, farming the docks. And then I went to Drustvar for the other one, which was also a 400 piece, I think. 385, 400, I don't remember. Either way, I got a crap item for that one. But, no, it was time walking, I got a crap item. Yeah, it was 400. The two PvP ones are 400. So I did that in Drustvar because there was another quest out there for 10. I actually got a bounty put on my head.
Yes!
And they still couldn't kill me because we had a group.
Did you just bubble hearth every time?
No. Didn't leave. I didn't use.
Ellison couldn't do it, and you can't either.
I didn't bubble ever. We just happened to have my group, which was 5 people, farming flight points. And then we had another group with us. So we had 10 people running around. Just every now and then, a couple of us would take off with the flight points and checking and all that because we were going to the shared flight points, like the one up near Waycrest.
Sure.
Where you can jump off and go play with the turtle shells. So we did that. Other than that, the only real big news I can say is I have a third 120 finally. I've been on and off very little. Well, I've got my Alliance Ret Pally. I've got my Horde Demon Hunter.
Okay.
And now I have my Alliance Demon Hunter. Next up will be my Mage and Death Knight.
Totally spoiled you are. High movement classes.
I mean, mages have blink. Death Knights, that'll be the one that'll be interesting. Although I do level as the tank spec, so that'll make that easier. But no, I've been hit and miss every so often. One thing I can say, if you do the invasions while you are leveling under 120, when you complete your invasion for the lower level thing, you get an XP buff that lasts for X amount of time. I think it's like 30 minutes, maybe an hour.
Hey, on top of that, and there's an item at the new vendor right next to the war table where you get the two, Battlefront for this and Battlefront for that. He sells an XP potion for like 15 marks of the 7th Legion or whatever. Bound on an account, you can mail your XP potion to your alts for XP boost as well.
Cool. See, I didn't even look. I just been doing it normal. I knew they were there. I just didn't bother. I was like, I'm 119. It's really not going to help.
Yeah.
So, at about 5 a.m. last night, ding, 120.
What? As doing up at 5 a.m. dinging 120s.
It's called not sleeping. As of when I logged off earlier, because I was on a little bit, I was high enough that I was able to do the Darkshore Warfront, so I was over 335. So,
yes.
Yeah,
that's a 400 item level gear on that too.
Yep.
I enjoyed that this week on both my characters.
Yeah. I've gotten three tunes with that now, so I just got a couple other things I got to pick up. I got to finish my time walking on that character because I've done them on the other characters and all that. So,
gotcha.
That's what I've been doing is just on and off. Once I had the 2, I was just on and off leveling a little bit here and there. So, yeah, that's the big news. I've been kind of slacking on Altus expansion just because normally I would get a lot for specifically the big Love Rocket for Valentine's Day. And
You already got it now.
since I got it last year, I was like, I'm in no rush. I can actually sit back and be like, look at all these fools doing that.
Look at all these scruffy-looking nerf herders doing that.
I'm not naming the show that, so you can just chill out.
I'm not lobbying for that to be the title. Not yet.
Mm-hmm.
It'd have to be a better reason.
Yeah. No, I mean, if I had what you had for a beard, then maybe. Or what apparently Theory has, because he's got a full-on beard from what he's saying in chat.
Now, for those of us in the Discord, the Epic Fail Discord, epicfail dot whatever it is, tell them what it is.
bit.ly/epicfaildiscord.
Yes, I put in a screenshot or a selfie of my epic handlebar mustache from last week. So you can go check that out too.
Disclaimer, we do not support the use of eye bleach, but we understand if you decide you need it.
So there has been, I would say, a lot of really interesting news.
Yeah, I actually had to cherry pick a little bit because I didn't want to have a 3-hour show again.
It's happened before by accident.
Yeah,
but,
things happen.
Yeah.
So I just kind of cherry picked some stuff in general.
Fair enough.
First up, for Blizzard in general news, if you were here for the pre-show, you heard some interesting music, not just songs. There is some actual game-related music in front, which I sometimes do, sometimes don't, depending on what I feel like. But I specifically picked 2, start and finish, from a very specific game company. And that was because we can actually report Blizzard got a new employee and didn't lose somebody this week.
I'm so excited that I took a selfie of me sitting in a wooden bathtub, and I'm going to put that in the Epic Fail Discord channel next.
And then, whenever I happen to scroll and see it, Galv gets banned. Well, at least you're not using a stuffed unicorn, because that would just be even weirder.
Right.
No.
Right.
But anyway, one of the people who worked on, most recently, Cyberpunk 2077, and prior to that, the Witcher series, his name I will butcher, but I will attempt. Sebastian... I'm just going to say Stepien? Like I said, I'm going to... It's got accents.
Stepien.
Yeah, it's got accents. So
right.
I'm terrible. But a creative director from over there has joined Blizzard somewhere. We don't know what he's working on. It's probably not Warcraft 2. World of Warcraft 2. It is probably not Diablo 4. It might be Diablo 4. Who knows? That would be right. That's kind of closer to Witcher and, from what I've seen, the Cyberpunk game than anything else that Blizzard has done so far.
So, the upside to this is that his work is broadly associated with high-quality storytelling. Plus, he was not done on marquee projects that he was currently with. So this looks like a headhunting job where Blizzard paid him. I don't know. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
From what I hear, 100% rumor, by the way, but from what I hear, his work on Cyberpunk was done. Like, it's pretty much just about ready to go. They're going through, they're putting the polishing touches on it. But his particular job was done. So he might have been done and like, okay, we're going to move you over here. Kind of thing.
Yeah, but that's
was
not
he
exactly
poached?
a contract. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's not like a contract gig. He was working at the other company.
Well, his contract might have been for X number of years. That contract ran out. Blizzard offered more money.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know. We don't have any actual details outside of, honestly, his LinkedIn page. That's how people figured. That's how people found out. Someone just saw this and was like, "Oh, look at this." He says he's working at Blizzard as of January 2019, and prior to that,
So
CD Projekt Red, who made Witcher 3 and the upcoming Cyberpunk game, which I'm kind of still looking forward to, despite the people yelling about it. It's a video game, people. Chill.
this could be a case of much ado about nothing. You know,
It's good
Mark
news either way,
2023.
because he's like you said, he's known for good stuff. Like Witcher 3,
Yeah.
amazing freaking game. He's not the only guy responsible for it, sure. But
yeah, but he's one of the not directors, but like one of the people directing the creative process there.
yeah, he was one of the higher ups there, so
Yeah.
worst case he had at least some saying yes or no.
I've heard nothing bad about the Witcher series, especially Witcher 3. In fact, I got people telling me how to go get a discount copy on GOG games recently. Like people are always looking for a discount copy of it because they want to play it.
I bought my copy through a Steam sale back in Warlords. That's when I played it. Back in Warlords. I was like, yeah, I'll go ahead and play that. I played it before Mass Effect 1. Like I was like, I can finally play Mass Effect 1. Oh, Witcher 3, I'm going to play that instead.
So here's another thing that I noticed. Typically, when you see news about these kind of personnel changes involving Blizzard these days under Activision, most of the community posts you see in response to them and speculation are salty, a little bitchy, and by and large, there's just post after post of positivity. People are just more interested in speculating what he's going to do, but no one's like really upset. They're all excited that this could be a good news for one of their favorite franchise games.
Yeah,
I just don't know.
I mean, admittedly, usually when we hear news like this, it's Blizzard lost somebody for something, or they went somewhere.
Exactly.
So that could be part of it. And then they're just blaming because of Activision, whether it's their fault or not.
Right.
But this is a semi-known quality. Like, I didn't know this guy's name up until this news broke. I was like, I don't know who this is. Oh, he did Witcher. Okay. Oh, he was high up on The Witcher. Okay, this will be fun.
Yeah.
So
it seems
I'm leaning towards Diablo 4 for his job.
there's a lot of steam on that.
Whether that's accurate, who knows? I don't see you taking a creative director from a game like Witcher 3 or even Cyberpunk, which we don't know a lot about yet. But for when it seems like you don't take one of the higher ups of that and then put them on a mobile game.
Right.
So, yay, PC stuff.
Yeah, if I had to guess based on the type of work he's done in the past, it could be a Warcraft-related project, or even possibly an Overwatch-related project, if they were looking to expand some aspect of Overwatch, unless it's a as of yet unrevealed thing, because the storytelling piece, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it could be an unknown IP. Diablo, Warcraft, somewhere. They've got a game director already, so I don't think they really need another one unless he's moving. But
yeah, like I said, I mean, as far as the style of the games he's dealt with before, it falls much more under an immersive RPG style game.
Yep.
But
that's why I was thinking Diablo.
Yeah. Either way,
I mean, we know we're going to get a Diablo game,
right?
Not just Immortal, but a new Diablo game at some point, because they've all but confirmed, yeah, we're working on Diablo 4, don't worry. They've confirmed it without actually saying, yes, we are, kind of thing. But, yeah, good news is always fun. It's a little thing, but it was one of those things that after all those weeks of, okay, this person left, I was like, yay, we can have something coming in. That's always nice to have.
Right.
Yeah.
Talent acquisition.
Yes. And
so, human. Have you heard about this human transmog?
Human transmog.
Yeah.
Is that where someone goes to get a surgery to make themselves look like a set of Warcraft armor?
Something similar to that, but a little less extreme. You got some notes on here related to the movie Hook from when we were a little younger. It had Robin Williams playing an older version of Peter Pan, and it had who's from Pretty Lady, who was Tinkerbell. I think her name Julia Roberts was Tinkerbell, right? And the Lost Boys would shout a certain battle cry as they went into combat.
I don't believe in fairies.
Oh no, that was Captain Hook's line. Who was he played by?
Dustin Hoffman.
Dustin Hoffman. That's right.
No, I know where you're going now. I was like, where are you going with this? And then you said Lost Boys would shout. And I was like, okay, now I understand your reference.
Now you got it.
Yeah,
now you got it.
I mean, I knew what you were talking about. I just was like, how are you using this particular movie? To go there, I was like, okay. Yeah, for those people who like leggings, it's just, a tiny little thing. There's a lot more options from the Bangarang people. Overwatch, I see Tracer, Widowmaker, Soldier 76 on a girl.
I mean, guys can wear that too.
Yeah, I mean, sure, guys can, yeah.
Fit in the leggings.
Yeah, it's up to you. You can wear whatever you want. Just,
That's right.
Keep an eye on it. But there's also the new Warcraft ones, which have, Jaina, Anduin, Coltirin, Zandalari, kind of thing. So,
Dark Iron, Magar Orc.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them.
Void Elf legs, Nightborn legs, Lightforged Draenei, but no tail. That's disappointing.
Yeah, well,
And High Mountain Tauren. I mean, High Mountain Tauren's on the list.
I mean,
I guess.
I guess they want to cater to every kind of person, including the furry people, who I don't understand. But okay, cool, whatever.
No, we got some good friends. But here's my point: is if someone walked by you wearing Jaina Proudmoore leggings, you might be like, "Damn, I know what those are," right? You'd probably recognize them.
I would probably recognize them and make fun of them for being a fan of Jaina.
And that's okay. If someone walked by with the Anduin Wrynn leggings, you'd still probably recognize them, right?
I would at least recognize what was on them, and I would most definitely make fun of them.
Right. Now, if someone walked by you with High Mountain Tauren leggings on, are you going to recognize them at all?
Probably not.
He's looking.
I clicked the link just to see if I was like, because they weren't on my list. I don't see the High Mountain Tauren.
They're at the bottom.
I see. Yeah, I don't see High Mountain Tauren.
I will. I'm going to pop this into trade chat on Discord so that anyone who's visiting bit.ly.epicfail Discord.
Oh, okay. You're still on that page. I thought you clicked a link to open like their actual sell page. Okay.
No, I'm on the splash. I'm on the thing you linked me.
Oh, I didn't scroll that far down.
Take a look at that.
Yeah, I see it.
No one's going to recognize that. Not even remotely.
But that might be the point, too.
Maybe.
For the people who do recognize it. You're going to be like, yeah.
That's a tight window of people to try to, oh, hey, check out my Tauren leggings. Maybe we'll have to do a Tauren legging giveaway.
We'll see. That'd be a weird thing for a giveaway, but sure.
I mean, how many do you think they'll sell if we do a giveaway? One?
No. I think they'll sell at least 50.
All right.
I mean, we're not going to ever find out numbers, but that's fine.
It's cool. I
Yeah.
like that they're doing this.
I mean, I'm not going to wear any of these, but I don't wear leggings because I don't have the figure for it, for starters. So, yeah. Anyway.
Good times.
Yeah. So there's that. You had some Hearthstone news.
I do have some Hearthstone news. Now, the Year of the Raven is coming to a close. 2018 launched the Year of the Raven, which rotates through which standard decks are going to be in the competitive standard season and which are going to be pushed to the legacy of the wild decks. In particular, there was an interesting news article that came out on the 25th, which was just yesterday, and it was about Gia D, who is a prominent esports caster who just won at the World Showdown of Esports, the all-women's Hearthstone tournament that happened in Manhattan Beach, California last month. So, one thing that I took away from this is rather than focus on why have a all women's Hearthstone tournament, I thought it was really cool that they gave an opportunity to showcase the women that are not just in the esports scene, because she was a caster, and that's not how she got here. She got here by playing well. But you know what I mean? It sort of like elevated that because there's always that difficult part of the community out there to work through when it comes to the women playing in the competitive video game scene. So I thought that was pretty cool that a caster also was a winner in this case. So did you catch anything on that?
Just as devil's advocate, they're sure it was her playing?
Yeah, they were pretty sure. I mean, she was sitting there doing it.
Sorry, Overwatch joke.
Yeah. You had to catch episode 177, was it, or 176?
One of the last couple, yeah. It was
a couple ago.
No, I knew it was obviously her. She was sitting there.
So
I don't watch Hearthstone. I can't watch it. It's like it'd be like I would akin it to someone who likes watching sports but hates golf, sitting down and watching golf.
Sure.
I mean, if someone likes it and wants to watch it, that's fine. It's just not for me. I can't. Like, the entire excitement for Hearthstone, as I understand it, is what is the card draw going to be? And
sure.
It's just, I'll stick to my preferred. If I'm watching a video game, like competitive, it'll be like, well, I would say Heroes, but they don't do competitive anymore.
Well, yeah.
Not like HGC, I mean. So, League of Legends, Dota, usually I'll watch the World Championships of those and very little else. But,
so,
I'll watch other games that aren't that style of game, just because card draw for the excitement just isn't for me.
A lot of it, I would say, I understand what you're saying about card draw because of your experience of how you see it. A lot of it is the strategy. I would say that deck crafting, whether you steal someone's deck and use it as your own, or effective with it, or you're one of the people that has the talent to craft the decks that climb the meta, I think that is probably where the significant talents lie in the player's skill part.
Okay, so we're talking in circles. You're talking a different version. Like, I'm talking like the pro scene for Hearthstone. Watching
gotcha.
that is, okay, we know they've got more than likely really good decks. What's the card draw going to be? Do they get the card they need that just flips it, that makes the other person want to flip the computer? Or, that kind of thing.
So the other... you're right. I'm sorry to conflate those two things. But the other thing that's going on right now is they're updating ranked play. And what they've done is, the current format that they most recently used is it was a 5 stars to move up each rank. It's taking forever to do the ladder climb. So they blew the whole thing apart in a way, and there's now 50 ranks. And from rank 50 through 16, it only takes 3 stars or 3 wins or 2 streaks if you're already on a win streak to advance a rank. From ranks 15 to 11, it's 4 stars. Then from ranks 10 to 1, it's 5 stars. So it's sort of a hybrid on the ladder of the last 2 formats that they've used. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll have a shout out related to Hearthstone later.
That's actually more total ranks than they had before.
Oh yeah, they added 25 ranks, all on the lower end.
Well, no, I mean like stars. That's actually, if you are just starting out, you need more wins to get to the top than you did prior, just starting out.
So it was 25 times 5, 125 stars to get to legend from nothing.
Okay, so and then rank 10, 1 through 10 are 5.
That's 50.
So they stay.
Yep.
11 through...
That's 20 more stars, 15 through 11.
Okay, and then everything below that is 4.
Right, so...
that's a lot more stars total because you're going all the way to 50.
34 times 3, 120. Yeah, so you're adding 69. Woo! You're adding 69 stars to the ladder climb. But I assume that there's a ratchet in there somewhere, because before they had a ratchet at around rank 20 or 22 where you couldn't lose stars past a certain rank. So I don't know where that is yet. But it was noteworthy because that's just something that came out in the last week.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely a noteworthy thing. It seems like possibly a good thing. The first thing I thought of, holy crap, a new person getting in there needs so many more.
But they won't know. So then...
Well, yeah, they
only
won't know.
Smurfs will know. Right,
Yeah,
the Smurfs will be the ones that are like, oh my god, I have to climb 50% more stars. Yeah. The new people will be like, wow, I got from rank 50 to rank 30 really fast, and they'll feel really good about themselves, not realizing that
that's actually the equivalent of 22.
Right, exactly.
When you started at 25. Yeah.
So,
a little bit different, but yeah.
Maybe that's the point.
I don't know. Anytime you stretch things out like that, I think they need a different system, but that's coming from someone who doesn't play the game anymore, so my opinion doesn't count.
It's still valid. It's just your opinion. So
it's weighted. Yeah, my opinion is weighted about as much as this old thumb drive thing.
I gotta wait for that delay to see what you're talking about.
It's just an itty bitty little thumb drive.
Oh, I see it now.
Yeah, it's when I say old, I mean old. It's like half a gig. It has nothing. You can't do nothing on it.
Waiting for Draven's Hearthstone opinion is like letting this match burn down on my fingers just to see if I can still feel anything.
And you're like, nope, don't care. Anyway, moving on. We have StarCraft news.
We do.
Holy crap. Well, kind of StarCraft news. We have news that involves StarCraft.
Definitely.
I don't know if it is actually StarCraft news.
Absolutely.
Sort of. Anyway, DeepMind, that thing that they unveiled at BlizzCon, or they announced at BlizzCon a couple years ago. 2015?
Later.
17?
16 or 17.
16, 17, somewhere around there. Anyway, they said, hey, we're going to make this AI that can play StarCraft and beat pros. And everyone's like, that ain't going to happen. Well, it took them a while. They did a stream this week. It was actually during the WoW Q&A. So I only got to watch one of these live. I picked the StarCraft one because that was the more interesting to me at the time. They went through, over December, early January, 2 pros, one of which wasn't playing his main race because right now it is limited to 1 map and 1 race. Protoss, I don't remember the name of the map. But it can only do Protoss versus Protoss, and that's it. And it can only play the 1 map, so far. But that's how you start these things. You start with one thing, and then you branch it so it can learn. Well, it went against a pro, destroyed the pro. He was not playing his main race. TLO was the name of the first pro they brought in. Normally a Zerg, they put him on Protoss. He's still considered a Grandmaster player, top 1% in the world on Protoss. Just completely dominated him. And everyone's like, oh. So they brought in his teammate, who is considerably better at Protoss. He got 5-0'd too. Games were a little closer.
Mm-hmm.
And then they did a live, quote-unquote, rematch. It was a new version of the thing. They haven't really tested it. And Mana is the guy's name. He did end up taking that map. So 10-1 against pros. But they mentioned something that I was like, holy crap, that's amazing. That I thought was really interesting. I don't know how interesting anyone else will. 1 week of training for the AI system is 200 years of playing StarCraft.
So
I was like, holy crap.
Yes. So right now, the best part of that, however, is the name of the guy who has created this AI is Miles Dyson. And Sarah Connors is on her way right now to assassinate him.
Yeah, Alessander's bringing up in chat that they kind of cheated by not telling the pros they weren't playing against the same AI each time. Here's the problem there. Even a human can have multiple strategies.
Right.
So, yeah, it was kind of cheating, but at the same time...
So, let's just even this out. Alessander brings up a good point that how the AI won or how those victories were accumulated is a significant component of what happened. However, 10-1 is pretty definite number.
Yeah, I mean, okay. So that just all that means is at best humans can say they went 1-1 with one of the AIs. Well, he can say he went 0-1 versus one of the AIs and 1-0 against a different AI. But either way, the AI is still 1-1-1-1. Humans were 0. So they lost to the AI, even if it was a different AI. Yeah, humans tend to have things that they normally would do. And I completely agree with that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But there are things that you can just randomly do. Computers did have the advantage of not having to have the camera on, looking at for the first 10 games. Like, normally we would have to, okay, I got to go back over here so I can click this button so I can do this stuff, and then I can go back over here and do that. Computer didn't have to do that. The one time that the humans won, they made the computer do that. It was a little bit slower on the reaction times and all that. It wasn't quite as crisp, but it still almost beat him.
I'm not contesting that it was such a lopsided victory as to make the pros seem not pros. My whole perspective on this, and the reason I thought it was newsworthy, is because they took a Blizzard game that we're fans of to greater or lesser degrees. Obviously, Alessander's like an 11 on a scale of 1 to 10, but they took an AI based off of Deep Blue, IBM's Deep Blue system, incorporated StarCraft, and now you're looking at one of the most interesting advancements in AI related to video games we like that's ever happened, ever. So, anyway,
yeah,
that's a little geek factor for me.
Yeah, and like she said, the pro player named Mana did win match number 11 with kind of a rematch after they told him what they'd done. You played against 5 different ones. That's why you had a hard time figuring it out. But one of the things I saw that was interesting, the AI would do things that humans wouldn't. Like, humans won't take fights up ramps normally unless they know they can do it. The AI was like, so it's a ramp. And he was like, no human would have done that. I didn't even think about it as a thing, and the AI just did it. Yeah, so...
Which, I mean, is it some sort of mental block or the difficulty of being able to...
It's a high ground thing. If you're on the low level, you can't see high ground. The ramp leads to high ground. You're attacking into blind. You don't see what you're going up against. Humans normally, when attacking, won't go up there unless... they have no other choice, or they can see. Another weird thing that they did on the AI was it built way more workers than humans would.
Because they can micromanage the individual workers on a more thorough basis.
Yeah.
I would guess.
I think part of it was that, but also I think it was planning ahead for its expansion so it would have the workers ready to go.
Yeah.
Because I did see it move them over. Not all of them, but, so it would get going faster.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was part of it. But, yeah, give it another couple years. Admittedly, they're playing against people who have been playing StarCraft for 20-something years. Computer has now officially had... At that point, it was 200, 400... Between 400 and 600 years of pro, quote-unquote, StarCraft training. And humans were still keeping up because they adapt faster. They adapt better than computers, for the most part, do.
Right.
So, I figure...
It's interesting.
I figure give it another year... Our time, not in AI training. Give it another year, and they might actually make it so that at least on that one Protoss versus Protoss 1 map, they might make it so that humans just can't beat them.
So pretty soon, when the Earth is under attack by alien Zerglings, this AI will become very useful.
Well, not really, because it's only good against Protoss.
Damn. Well, but maybe in a year or two they can fix that little difficulty.
Maybe they'll branch out into other maps and then the other races. But yeah, it'll be entertaining. I look forward to and I dread AI as a whole. Like, the concept of it sounds cool, but I worry about if it gains consciousness, what its reactions to humans will be. That's where I worry at. Like, I'm not thinking, I don't think Terminator is going to happen. But that is a valid option. It could do that. It could be, yay, it's nice. We'll help you. Yeah. Yeah. But generally, the more accepted view is they're going to look at humans as just not worth the effort. At that point, once we're redundant, what happens? But anyway, that has not to do with the show. That's just a personal thing.
You and Elon Musk can do a podcast on that later.
I don't want to make him look bad.
So I got a question for you. Did you find anything relevant for Diablo or Heroes this week?
Well, Season 16 is still going for Diablo.
Mm-hmm.
I have not started it yet. I don't know that I'm going to. It's one of those games that I randomly will pick up and randomly decide yes or no. In terms of Heroes, nothing new this week. I mean,
it's still there.
They had a patch, but we haven't covered their patch notes in a while, so...
Wicked Kitten is kicking butt, but that's about it.
Kicking butt, getting our butt kicked. It goes back and forth, as it should with that kind of game. Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. Overwatch has a thing going, though.
Yes, it does.
It's got its new Chinese New Year event type thing.
Lunar Festival.
Yeah.
That's where the Year of the Pig was.
Yeah, it's Year of the Pig. There's some interesting skins. They're all Chinese flavored.
Mm-hmm.
Or that, maybe not Chinese, but Oriental. I'm not an expert on any of that area.
Flavored.
You know what I mean.
Yeah. I'm just laughing that you got suckered into that comment.
Yeah. They're Chinese slash Oriental stylized skins.
Yes.
Reapers looks interesting, but beyond that, I mean, these aren't skins that I'm ever going to really use, so I'm not overly worried about it. Capture the Flag is back on the new newer Busan maps.
Hanzo looks kind of cool, by the way.
Yeah, they've got some interesting skins.
The old Lunar Festival skins are also back. I like some of the Diva stuff.
Yeah, and they're cheaper now.
Oh, some of the emotes are kind of cool, though.
Yeah. But it's not my style. I'm more of a Halloween skins in that game, and any game that has Halloween skins. But
Halloween is probably my favorite season, and summer. The summer pool one was really good for Overwatch. I think those are my favorite too.
Yeah, it just depends. But yeah, Capture the Flag is back on those newer maps, and I don't know if people have just forgotten, but I've played it a few times. No one is picking Lucio, even though he moves the fastest out of everybody. His E ability doesn't drop the freaking flag, which it should, but it doesn't. So he can speed boost halfway across the map, and it's no big deal.
Speed boost!
Yeah. But no one is expecting a Bastion to defend. Like, I've picked Bastion several times, and I'm just mowing down people left and right because they're not paying any attention. Oh, there might be a Bastion there. Why does the attacking group have 5 people? They get all the way to the end, they try to sneak around, and dead. And they're like, oh. Maybe that was why.
I remember playing defense with Torbjorn,
and
it wasn't nearly as... I think Bastion is way more effective. Torbjorn.
It depends. Torbjorn can have his turret over here, and he can be over here. Right. So you can cross the streams and do more damage that way quicker. Whereas a Bastion, as long as he sees you and can lock on, you're just gonna die.
Well, he has a strong field of view of the flag, and about the only people that can get in fast enough to maybe surprise him are the Tracer.
I've gotten... This is something I've seen many times this week when I've played it. Brigitte coming in to shield slam to stun you because that gets you out of your turret. Like you're standing up mode instead of you're sitting there ready to mow people down mode. Followed by McCree's stun grenade.
Mm-hmm.
And all the while you have other people like shooting at you, whether it is a Tracer or whoever else. You're getting 3 to 4 people coming at you whenever you play as a Bastion. Lock. Yeah, sure. They just stun, and you're just like, well, this is my life now. Okay. So
it's a hard knock life.
Yeah. So what I've taken to do in that particular case is if I'm defending as Bastion, I'll like kill 1 or 2 people, and then I'll move to the other side. So that way, whenever they come in to try to stun me, I'm like, yeah, you just turned your back to me. You're going to die before you turn around. But
that's the best.
Yeah. I'll be like, ha. Yeah. Some interesting... Mostly it's the sprays and emotes for this particular year that I'm looking forward to. Skins, they're nice, but they're not anything I plan on using. They'd be nice for the collection, kind of thing. It's like Warcraft mounts. Probably not going to use most of the 400 and something I have, but they're nice to have.
When are they going to give you a chance to win a Love Rocket Diva skin that you'll go after for years and years and years?
I don't know how they would do that with Diva.
That would be cool having a goblin Love Rocket themed Diva skin.
I probably wouldn't if it was a goblin thing, and that means she would be a goblin. I wouldn't. I'm still using my Shanghai Dragons Diva skin.
Oh, that's a good one too. I feel like I when I do play, I usually use my team support skins for Watch League.
Yeah, I mean, I could probably go with my. I don't have. I haven't even looked at the away team version of it, so I don't know what it looks like. Now that I'm thinking about it,
that got me curious.
Most of the away teams are white and something, but this one might be because it's mostly red. It might be yellow with red. I don't know.
The new 2019 team skins are available.
Yep.
As another side note of news for
Yeah,
Overwatch.
the new teams. The new teams, their
So
skins.
it's worth taking a peek at.
I'm not impressed with them. Maybe not. The skins themselves are fine. It's the colorations that the teams chose.
Yeah, I wonder if there were some restrictions on palettes based on the ones that were already in play.
Well, there had to have been because half of them went with cotton candy colors. Pink, the cotton candy pink and cotton candy blue. Yeah, that's on like 3 different teams.
Well, man, I mean, I wish there was more to talk about this week. I mean, I guess that's pretty much everything, huh?
I mean, there is this other little itty bitty game that we talked about a little bit earlier. You know,
What's that?
Our what we did this week.
Oh,
There's a little bit of Warcraft news, I think.
just a little bit.
A little bit. They did a Q&A. Lori and Ian. I'm always going to suggest watching the video as opposed to just what we say. But we'll give you a quick rundown of the big important stuff as we see it. First and foremost, the 2 new races, Coltarian Human and Zendalari Trolls, will not be out until 8.15. Which is pretty much what we already knew if you paid attention.
Everyone wants them. I know people that are just lining up ready to like roll the 2 faces of the Colter and Human that you can roll. Because I think there's only, two variants?
Honestly, I didn't get into the PTR to look, so I have no clue. I would imagine they're going to flesh it out a little bit more before they release them, because they still have time. With the war mode, the 400 quest item thing isn't something that's going to be there all the time. So don't get used to it. It just happened to be the first week, and because the balance is still very much horde-sided, they bumped up the reward for Alliance. And then
really? I can't imagine that would actually have any sort of effect on the game.
Yeah. I can't think that having a level 400, which is higher than the mythic level rating, unless it's Titan Forged from Old Deer, would be a thing that would possibly be looked at as, oh, that might be too high. More on that later. They are going to scale it down, probably just to be a 385, but it's a thing. Character slots. That was something that I saw that I thought was interesting. They're talking about character slots again. They're still going to keep the cap of 50, but they might make it so that all 50 can be on one server, as opposed to, what is it, 16, 17 now?
Right, making you split it up.
Yeah, a little less than half.
On difference.
Yeah.
There's,
I think what they need to do in terms of that cap, honestly, 75 characters, and then you can have one of each race, and then a spare.
Spare.
Yeah, so you can have
if some people.
Yeah, just for the people who have duplicates for some reason, like me and my 5 demon hunters. Let's see. The other thing, they're looking at ways to transfer war resources from mains to alts for 8.15, which will be very nice, because I do know every time you level an alt, it sucks getting resources there at the beginning.
Yep.
And then if you're like me, you're doing all your pretty much half the missions sometimes. My paladin has like 13k resources. I'm spending them. I'm spending them to buy my tokens. That's what I'm using to buy the tokens, is war resources. I can't spend them fast enough compared to what I'm doing, and I'm not doing a whole lot.
I'm on the other side of that. I'm resource starved all the time. It's because my discretionary playtime is way down.
Well, I mean, I'm just doing I'm logging in doing the emissaries. It's just the ones that I pick are the easier ones, which happen to normally give you resources.
Yeah, I can't. I haven't been able to keep up with those. So
It happens. I mean,
it happens. It just
everyone has
depends
their own
on
playtime.
right, your own playtime and availability.
Yeah.
So maybe they're tuning it towards people closer to my end of the spectrum than yours.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I don't sleep. So that helps with
extra discretionary time.
I have, like I said, I dinged my Demon Hunter to 120 at 5 in the morning. Clearly I don't sleep much. So, it gives me a little bit extra time to play games compared to, some other people because I'm not using that time to sleep. Do you see anything else here? I see a PvP vendor section.
So the class changes and roles piece, the DPS of healing classes and the conundrum of the disciplined priest, I thought was a little interesting because they're still having a hard time figuring out how to balance some of those more unique class styles. Where the note here says healer DPS should not be close to damage dealers as their rotations are simple and they have a low ceiling. And then it says some healers could use some help with damage, but they want to avoid a disciplined priest at the beginning of the expansion situation. That to me sounds like maybe they need a better build out for disc priest if they're worried about people playing disc priest and doing damage early in the expansion. I don't know how to take that.
I know how to fix this. When you're leveling and just starting out, disciplined priests suck. Your shields aren't strong enough, your DPS isn't high enough, leveling as a disciplined priest is doable, you won't die, probably. But it takes a long time. You know how you fix it? Since we're using Azerite gear, make the traits more powerful. Don't let them stack. Don't let them stack. Once you have this trait, it's like, okay, now you're at full power on that trait, or on that talent, or that ability. Next one, okay. That's how you do it. That's the only way I can think of to do it. The problem is, you're more gear reliant than any other class at that point. No one would take you because if you don't have that gear, then no one wants you. If you have that gear, then you have no reason to be there in the first place. Because you're just... I mean, there's a chance you might get other items, Titanforge, Warforge, but... But they're not going to know if you have those items until you're there and they inspect you. So, how would they fix it? The only thing I can think of is hot fixes through patches.
Yeah.
Hey, we know your stuff is a little low right now. We're going to turn it up as it goes by a little bit, or turn it down depending on which way, as needed for the first couple months as you get more powerful yourself. That's a lot of resource time that gets put into that, though.
Yep.
So I don't know.
Did you also take away from this that Josh Allen's hat is completely out of place in this this background and setting? I mean, basically, it looks like he's wearing a unicorn turd on his head. It's made of
stars. It was, at this point, he can get away with crap like that because everyone knows who he is. So it's like, yeah, I'm just going to do something goofy. So why not? Let's see. Is there anything else on here? Really, your mythic pluses all got. They're harder now compared to where they were. So like a 6 then is a 4 now. That kind of thing. Your necklace. That's one thing I know people are looking forward to. Supposedly, as of 8.2, which will not be the next raid, the next little mini raid, is the Crucible of Storms, and then 8.2 will come after that. That's how it's looking to be anyway. So the Ashara raid. The necklace starts unlocking traits. The gear no longer has the traits on them. Will we be getting set pieces? No. It'll just be gear. The necklace itself is what's giving the extra traits. But it'll have options of everything from what I've been hearing.
So the necklace will have its own web.
Yeah. It'll have, like, whenever you unlock your Azerite gear and you get that little pop-up that I want this thing, and it does this little spinny, which I still think that was a cool UI thing. It just takes too long.
Right.
The necklace itself is going to have those.
Well, but I hope they do that right, because that could turn into a total disaster.
Well,
if it's not done right.
They just have to put the right thing, like, they just have to put the right things on there, that's all.
There's 3 pieces of gear right now, and the fact that you can mix and match gears from different parts of the expansion.
Yeah. So I'm thinking what's going to happen is we're still going to get the regular Azerite gear that we have. We're just going to get the necklace to start unlocking also. So that's going to be 4 pieces instead of 3.
Okay.
I think that's what's going to happen, and not the gear itself. But that's what I've heard, is the gear itself.
So it says the traits on the Azerite armor later will all be unlocked when you obtain it. So you just have to customize that piece. And then the artifact power will instead give you abilities on your heart. Okay, gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
I'm reading that better now.
Yeah. So how many pieces out of the neck will we get? Is it going to be 1 per level or 2 per level? I'd like 2, honestly. Pick 2 of them. Because I can think of 2 that are really good on every level for me. But, it is what it is. Let's see. Titan Residuum. Number 1. If you are a plate wearer, only plates will give it to you when you scrap it. Same with leather, mail, cloth. It no longer gives it to you if it's not the armor you should be wearing. This is for the World First guilds, not other people.
Bundling residual.
This does nothing to stop them is the problem.
Well, the only thing it did was
because the residuum
from passing items that weren't appropriate for their archetype to them.
Yeah.
To get the residual.
Right. I guess it does.
So if you were doing
hinder them a little bit.
Yeah, because if you were doing a split and you could pass a bunch of cloth, leather, and mail to a plate wearer, that plate wearer could be farming for their what I'm talking about
unless they were taking characters they knew they were not going to put any gear into.
Yeah, that's what the splits do.
Well, no. Okay, so they funnel gear to let's say 20-man raid. They do 4 sets of 5. These are their main people, or however many they're doing. We'll just say 5.
Call it 4, 20% of each raid.
Yeah, we'll call it. Yeah, we'll call it 4 then. They're not going to funnel every single piece of gear to that other person. There's going to be gear that nobody wants. Because, in my case, I'm not.
It depends on the threshold.
I'm not a Mythic Raider. Well, we dabble in Mythic, but I'm not a World First.
Right. That's what I was saying.
Going into normal, there is 1 item in the entire raid that is more than a 0.03% upgrade. It's the trinket off of Jaina. It's a 3% upgrade off of my 375 trinket. Not my 355, my 375 trinket. I got a 385 trinket off of Gorilla Boy. I can't use it. It's a 5% decrease off of my 355, 375. I'm just like, what?
Well, what I'm trying to say is you get these teams that can beat that content with a average item level below most of the people that we run with, right?
Yeah.
So they might be as well geared at the moment as you are, because they've already done or fleshed out Mythic, right? So they're maybe item level 390 or whatever it is. So when they get this new stuff coming out in the heroic tier, it could still be an upgrade for them, but as long as it's tradable, they can funnel. They had been presumably funneling as much of that as they could to their split people who are moving up, and so they turn that into Titan Residuum and cash it in for the set, the particular pieces that they'll need for the Mythic first race, which is what I was trying to say. Because I mean, aside from the restriction of can you trade this item based on eye level, they can probably do all of them up to all the heroic content already, as many of them have.
Yeah.
Without it,
I'm just thinking, are they really going to get enough to do that? They'd almost have to have even more alts to do something like that.
Maybe they do.
Like, okay, instead of running groups of 4, maybe they're running groups of 2.
I imagine that they are funneling enough Titan Residuum that on their frontline team, they're not going to have any holes in any of their gear.
They're going to have. They're still going to have a little bit, but
maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. But
until this Q&A, it hadn't even crossed my mind they were funneling Titan Residuum. They had thought to do that.
They hot fixed it not too long ago. This is more of a getting into the details
of what happened. Right.
Yeah.
It hadn't even occurred to me that they would have been doing this since Titan Residuum became a thing. Go figure. They got that one sorted out real fast.
Yeah, they're getting better about that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But speaking of World First, we got 2 things for World First.
Yep.
First, which one do you want to do first here?
Okay, so
the good news or the funny news?
Let's just cover method real quick here.
Okay, the good news.
Because that is its own beautiful little package of good news, right? If you enjoyed last World First race where Method streamed, and even though there were some hiccups, they didn't have it all ironed out right off the bat, the point is, it was still there, super interesting, with tremendous following, and you got to see and learn about and meet some of the best players in the world, overcoming and seeing what they were doing and how their attitudes were and things like that. And that was really cool, and they're going to be doing that again for the World First race here.
So there was a rumor that they were going to start this week. They're not streaming their heroic runs. They're streaming their Mythic World First run. So that'll be when Mythic opens up, which will be next week, which will be on this upcoming Wednesday for them because they're freaking Europe. So when it hits, stream goes up, they're going to do their thing. We are not, yet again, going to hear their comms. Understandable. Disappointing, but understandable. We will more than likely have some cringeworthy talk show host people. Some of them were great. Some of them were cringeworthy. Fair play, I love the fact that they're streaming their World First run. The 9,000 wipes that they will have on the last boss. Mm-hmm. Probably not that many, but you know what I mean.
Sure.
But, they're going to have some cringeworthy hosts. That's just how it works.
Yeah, I suppose we are experts on that subject.
Oh yeah, I'm expert on cringe. But yeah, so that's the good news.
That's the good news.
Yeah, they're gonna stream again. Start Wednesday. I don't know the exact time. Follow them over on freaking Twitch, and you'll see it. Half their raid is going to be streaming. They're going to have their main stream thing and all that. So, but again, I wonder
if Red Bull will be involved.
Who?
Red Bull. Wasn't Red Bull involved last year, or trying to be involved last year?
I have no idea. I'm sure they're going to have sponsors. Either way, we don't get to hear their comms. The players themselves are muted. We don't hear what they're talking about. Makes sense. Mm-hmm. But it is what it is. So now that we have the good news out of the way.
Yeah.
Here's some WTF news.
So, we often lament the imbalance of Horde versus Alliance. And as rating people, we've noted that has happened because over a period of time, Horde racials have parsed out a certain percentage higher than Alliance racials during raids in the Mythic level and others. But the point is, it's caused an annual trickle-down effect where Alliance raids have switched entire guilds, which is unfathomable as far as costs go to people like us, have switched their entire guilds to Horde sides just so that they can keep that marginal percentage increase in their competitive World First chasing. And most people have said you'll never see a trend like that reverse. But it did this week.
Yeah, you remember the those PvP quests that I mentioned earlier with giving the item level 400 that could Warforge and Titan Forge? I saw someone get a 425 weapon.
Damn! Sign me up for that.
I'm still running King's Rest, by the way. I want a 425 of that weapon.
I bet.
I'll be like, yeah, I'm done for this expansion. See ya. I don't need a weapon anymore.
So,
at least for
one of the
biggest,
right? One of the biggest influential world first race guilds has switched from Horde to Alliance to exploit, not in a bad way, but they are banking.
It's still technically exploiting. It's just not bannable, illegal exploiting.
Not at all. It's using what they've they have on purpose. Blizzard, WoW, has on purpose put these pieces of gear in the game for the Alliance to offset currently part of the disadvantage the Alliance players have had against the Horde. And so Limit moved their whole guild over to the Alliance. And what was the name of the guild again?
They named their Alliance guild This Game Sucks. So here's the thing. One, while they used in-game currency to do this, they did not spend actual money. They didn't spend any of their actual money. They spent other people's money to do this because that's how tokens work. $5,000 to transfer to Blizzard to do this, and then you rename your guild This Game Sucks. So what you just said to Blizzard was, here's $5,000 for this game, we hate it.
It's very saucy for them to go at it that way. I thought that was in poor taste. But the presumption also is that after they're done farming these extra 400 item level plus pieces, they're going to go right back to Horde for the World First race. Is the presumption that I understand from the.
They can't.
Is there a delay on that?
If you faction change or realm change, race change doesn't matter. But if you faction or realm change, you cannot get World First. I mean, they could get World First, but they're not going to get any. There's no achievements to say that they got it. Like they cannot go into that raid within X amount of time and get any, like when we went in, we got the achievements for beating so many bosses. They can't get them. They can kill those bosses. They can't get those achievements.
So it might not be now, but at some point in the future, they may switch back to Horde anyway. This could just be temporary for this World First race.
Yeah, Alessander is saying it's like 2 months. I think it's like 30 days.
Okay. So
you don't get the achievements. But there's no World First achievement is the problem. Like before there was.
Okay.
The in-game achievement system no longer has World First. World First is now tracked on a third-party system. So they could still technically get World First, whether they jump back and forth or not.
Right.
The game's not going to recognize it is the problem. Will those websites do it? Probably.
Blizzard is now offering more better gear to the Alliance to try to swing population back to a closer to 50-50 distribution. Because right now the Horde drastically outnumbers the Alliance because of the trickle-down effect. Horde racial advantage and raid damage.
It's more the because it's the PvP quests. It's more that there's more Horde triggering war mode than Alliance are. So they gave them a huge bonus to be like, hey, here you go. But,
that's all right. That's right,
Alessandro in chat brought up something I was just getting ready to say. I was like, what would it be like if they actually got world firsts? I mean, they're still going to be listed as limit, no matter on the websites.
Yep.
But
it's going to be this game sucks.
Whenever they do the new scoreboard or whatever they're calling it on the Blizzard sites, it'll show the real guild name if they stay. And I'm just like, that would be really funny because Blizzard couldn't. They could, but they kind of shouldn't take it down. All they could really do is say, hey, you need to change your name.
Yeah, and that could happen too.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's going to happen.
It's just an immense expenditure of capital to do a maneuver like this.
But again, it wasn't their money. They just used in-game gold, and they actually put out a tweet saying, this is how long this would have taken us.
Right.
2 weeks. That's how long it would have taken us to put enough money together to buy enough tokens to do this.
It's amazing. So that was the other interesting news related to the PvP 400 caches and the World First race.
Yep. There was this other thing. And if you do simming at all, this will be kind of cool.
Yes.
You need the add-on called Simulation Craft. You put that in your add-on folder, which, given that everything's moved around now, you might have to go looking for it. But it should be there. Everything should be up to date, so it'll automatically put it there, is what I mean. But you get that, and then there's this website called RaidBots. I've been using this for a while now, because Ask Mr. Robot just completely kept screwing up my Sims and stuff. Like on my mage in particular, it was telling me this one item that was 100 plus item levels lower was better. And then when I put it on, no, this other one was better. And it just kept screwing everything up. I finally was like, you know what, screw it, done. Heard about this site, went over there, it gave me everything, everything went up. I was like, okay, cool, you're my new thing. So yeah, RaidBots is the thing, I've been using it. Well, they've got this new thing now. The Drop Optimizer. It tells you exactly what you would think. Where do you want to spend your... Like, if you only have 2 tokens for a week, where do you want to spend them? If you have all 5, well, then here's your top 5. What will be the best outcome if you do? That kind of thing. So, like in my case, I have...
And the name, the Droptimizer.
Yeah, the Droptimizer. Like in my case, in normal Desire Lore, the new raid, I have one thing that gives me a DPS increase, and that is the trinket off of Jaina. Everything else, side grade at best, minus the Azerite gear, because you have to, while RaidBots is free, you have to pay them for the Drop Optimizer to work on Azerite gear. It's just how it is. Their normal top gear thing that you can put in, once you have it, works. But for the actual drop part, you need to give money, which is only a couple bucks. It's no big deal. So, there you go.
It's still pretty cool.
Yeah.
And RaidBots has done a great job. See, SimCraft had its own... There's still a lot of behind-the-scenes pieces that SimCraft does in SimC. And what was the in-game one? Pawn? That shows you the way... Yeah. That shows you in-game tooltips for your stat priorities that change, wildly throughout your optimization process. But RaidBots, I think, has really sort of gelled together a lot of those pieces into what I would say is the most user-friendly collection of interfaces of any of the optimizers have ever been. I mean, It's not like a cure for cancer or something, but
No, in terms of WoW stuff and trying to min-max every little bit you personally can, which, and let's be honest, unless you're in a world first guild, not needed.
right.
I personally like doing the best that my gear will allow. Does that mean I will use flasks? Yes. Does that mean I will use potions every single attempt? Absolutely not.
Yeah, you're lazy like that.
No, it is not a lazy thing. It is an intelligence thing.
What? Says the lazy guy.
No. If we are on a fight, we are not expecting to kill it, a potion is a waste. You are wasting it on a death. You're just throwing your life away.
I suppose we're not going to be pre-potting much on Monday.
It depends.
No, we're not going to be.
Probably not.
I mean, I already have the plan in my mind. We're not going to.
Yeah.
For about a half an hour, we won't be pre-potting. That's okay.
Once it gets to the point where, okay, potions will definitely be helpful. I didn't use a whole lot of potions during raid. Sometimes I pre-potted, but didn't pre-pot ahead of time enough, so I got locked out. That happens too. Because I wait to the last second to pre-pot. Because I expect 0 as your pull, not 1 or 2. But if you are going into a fight and you know you're not going to kill the fight, pre-potting is a waste of a potion. Potting during the fight is a waste of a potion, outside of maybe you'll see more of the fight, but if you're going to die, it's still a waste of a potion. You use it when you're going to possibly kill. You don't use them when you're learning the fight.
Yeah, I would say the only difference is when it can make the difference between turning a marginal pull into a possible kill.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you're learning the fight, I won't pre-pot when I know people are learning the fight. When we get a couple of good attempts in back-to-back, that's when I start doing it. If we're having a very bad night on, say, Heroic Gahoon, and we're clearly not getting it, I take it off my bar entirely. I'm like, I'm not even going to try to pre-potion because it's not worth it, because half our raid are dying in phase 1.
More often than not, we did a good job, Gahoon. Back half of that.
Using that particular fight as an example. It wasn't even Gahoon that we had the issue with that night.
That's a good point.
But,
I know what you're talking about. Yep.
You know, there are outside features. Should we always pre-pot? There are pluses and minuses. But in terms of just economic value, I wait until the raid has figured out the fight, or if we have a close, semi-close call, where not if my one potion would have been enough, but if everyone's double potion would have been enough, then you start pre-potting and potting during the fight. But when you're just learning the fights and there's a good chance you're gonna die, it's just throwing cash down the, you know. That's my personal view. Again, I'm not a world first raider. They do require you to pre-pot and pot every single fight, every single pull, because that might make the difference every single pull. But anyway, getting back to the drop thing.
I'm looking at mine right now. I've already killed my top 2 priorities of the week. My next 2 are Mechatork and Proudmoore.
Yeah, Proudmoore is
Proudmoore
is my only upgrade.
Oh, it's because of the ring. Mm-hmm. Or I can't use the saber, so I can't get the combo. Damn.
Yeah. Jaina has a trinket that drops for me. That is the only upgrade I have in normal.
Come on. Check this out. She has a ring and saber set that says your auto attacks are tinged with the rime of the high seas, dealing 220 frost damage to your target and reducing their movement by 10% for 4 seconds. That's awesome.
Yeah, I got one of those. I don't know. I got one of the 2 set pieces too, but it was an item level upgrade, but because of stats, it was a DPS downgrade. So I couldn't trade it.
Shroud, was that right? The back?
I think I got the cloak, yeah.
And it comes with the Seal of the Empire, which I assume is a ring.
It would have to be, because we don't get necks. We don't get neck drops. But yeah. Raid bots is something I like. and he's like he just said, he's going through it right now, figure out his.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, you get the add-on SimC, Simulation Craft. Whenever you're in game and you have the add-on turned on, into your chat you type /SimC, enter, you copy it, you go over to RaidBots, you put it in, it does the simming for you. If you pay for it, it punches to the front, or very close to the front. If you're not paid, then you got to queue. You got to wait in line, and it'll tell you the best gear. If you give them money, there is no limit to how much you can sim through. Like if you're the free version, you have up to 300,000 variations that it'll go through.
Yep.
Or 300,000 or whatever it is.
And you have to sit behind the paying people in the queue, but
it
doesn't take that. It's fairly reasonable considering how much it actually does for you.
But if you pay for it, you get bumped up in front, and you have unlimited, it's called iterations. You could pick every single piece of gear with your Azerite gear. You could pick every single Azerite talent trait thing. You can pick every single weapon enchant, every single ring enchant, every single gem difference, every single one of your talents. It'll go through everything and tell you what the best combination of everything is. That being said, if you do that, that's going to take a really long time to do. Especially if you're like me and have 12 helmets, 13 shoulders, 9 chest pieces.
That's too much. Pare it down a bit.
I did. I've only got 2 bags full of Azerite gear.
Pare it down more.
See, here's the problem. They all have their own traits.
If it's not within 10 or 15 item levels, I mean, the primary
they're
stats
all the same item level.
Oh, boy.
Every single one of them are all the highest they could have been. And that's just for the Azerite gear. I've got trinkets in there just in case. So, yeah, I've got 2 to 3 bags of gear that, and I did prune it down. If it wasn't top level or just under with a gem socket, it got scrapped. So with that, do we have anything else we need or want to talk about in terms of Blizzard games related Warcraft stuff?
Well, do you want to give first impressions of the new raid?
We can. We've only seen the first half of it.
I mean, I suppose we could put it off, but this has been the first week of the new raid.
All right.
Which is fairly newsworthy in and of itself, right?
Okay, so, as a disclaimer, I don't know if Galv has gotten farther since then. I have only seen up to King Rastakhan. I have not killed him yet.
I've gotten pull in on Mekator.
Okay.
So I'm one up on you.
Yeah. So
normal.
So that's as far as we have gotten. So we do not know the Jaina fight outside of videos if we've watched them. I haven't watched Jaina yet.
I have watched a little bit, and our raid team better be watching all those before Monday because we only have 4 fights left to do. And I'm pretty sure that we can procedurally beat Rastakhan in a half an hour.
Yeah. If everyone actually shows up and pays attention, we should be able to clear normal Monday. And then next week we should be able to clear normal on Wednesday. Like full clear in one day. Because we outgear the thing. We should not be having issues outside of learning the mechanics. Most of them are not hard.
Right.
All right. So
Rastakhan is one of those fights. All right. I can talk about that in a minute. Destiny, we're busy on World of Warcraft still.
Yeah. No Destiny. We don't care.
There is, I would say, here's the thing is, first off, the way they incorporated cinematics into the opening of the raid was really interesting. They not only had some pretty decent cinematics, but paid off on a couple of things. They don't normally do this. They don't normally pay off on old material in modern content from two expansions ago, nonetheless. But then what seemed to be a fairly interesting but non-critical quest that we did during this expansion turns out to be absolutely key in the storyline progression. You know what I'm talking about?
I wouldn't consider. We'll wait before we go into real detail on it, but I technically wouldn't consider it a spoiler because it's at the beginning and not the end.
Yeah.
But we'll hold off on it just to be safe because some people will have a different opinion.
Okay. So what I'll say about that then that's not a spoiler is that they did a good job, I thought, of incorporating stuff that you did before the raid into the raid, and the consequences follow through. The opening fight is a paladin battle, and there is more to that fight than I did this last week, but because of the strength of the teams we've been on, you can ignore a good chunk of the mechanics. That'll probably come back to haunt us in Heroic, where we're going to have to actually manage some of those finer bits. But it was still a fun fight.
I mean, that's kind of the MO of our groups, though. Oh, we can ignore it? Ignore it. We'll deal with it later.
Right.
And then when we get to the next level up, crap, how did we do this without ignoring it? Until we outgear it. And like, okay, we can ignore it again. That kind of thing.
Yeah. I would say that now I'm tanking again. The tank position in this raid is much more important than it has been recently. The off duties of tanks, the intricacies of the swaps. It's the tank responsibility level is very much elevated in this raid, I feel. So whether that translates to being more fun, or if it just means that a very select few of your raid team are going to be responsible for more than the average number of wipes, we'll see. Do you have any favorite moments or bits of the raid so far?
Well, before I get into my thoughts on all the stuff, what was your favorite fight so far? Obviously, you've only gotten up to Mechatork. You haven't beaten him yet, so you don't have a full view.
And that was a Leroy pull because we had 5 minutes left in the raid and someone just wanted it to happen. We didn't actually go at it on purpose, with a purpose. So first fight's Paladin.
Hey, we almost killed what was his name in Argus, that very last boss. We almost killed him on a Leroy pull.
On a Leroy pull, yeah. It was Argus.
Yeah. Argus himself.
So it's Paladin, Monk, and Mage. There's the Monkey, Opulence, King Rastakhan are the ones I've done so far. I think Opulence might be my favorite fight so far. Even though, like King Rastakhan, the description of how the fight goes reads like an Encyclopedia Britannica novel, when you actually get into it, it's interesting. I like, you split the raid up, you take different paths, there's different mechanics on both sides of the raid that you kind of generally have to do. It's a gauntlet style fight. They incorporate different buffs and things like that that come into play later in the fight. I suppose they'll be even more critical on Heroic. Yep. So, yeah. How about you?
I would say probably the Opulence fight is also my favorite so far, just because I don't really enjoy patchwork style fights, which is what the giant monkey pretty much is. We ignored all the mechanics on the Paladin fight, so that was just, we zerked it down.
Yeah, you have to have a good off tank, and that's about it.
Yeah, the monk mage combo is, I really didn't pay much attention except for, okay, hit this target. That's all it is. Just keep one below the health of the other. With Opulence, though, not only do you split the group up, which is always interesting, but each side, as I understand it, has its own set of mechanics.
Yes. I've done both sides now.
Yeah.
And although the traps are the same on both sides, the mini bosses have 2 different base mechanics that you're evading.
So I'm always a big fan of, he does this 180 cone that will burn you alive and you'll die. And then I watch half my side die to it. And then, So that was always fun. I was like, stand behind him.
Right? Hey, if you run through him, it's a faster way to get behind him than if you try to run around him.
Or because there's no hunter dead zone or anything else, if everybody was standing up close, if he turns to face you, you still have less room that you need to run.
Yep.
So why are people dying here? If you're trying to DPS and you can't DPS while moving, don't DPS. It will be okay, I promise. You can auto attack. Right click him, and while you're running, your character will just swing its little stick at him, and it won't be as good, but it'll be something, and you'll live, which will be more DPS overall than if you die.
I think the other piece that I think Opulence went very well for our teams because we've been playing against Zool. In this expansion of the game, ad management on a larger scale has come back more. It's been more prevalent, and so the thing I'm thinking of on Zool is when you have the darkness, you run out and it drops the little Zoolites on the ground that look like Shahs.
That
And
fight is
most of the
so
teams-
much easier on Horde side than it is on Alliance.
Oh, because you can use Arcane Torrent?
Yeah.
Yeah. But the premise being, for the Alliance at least, learning how to coordinate between your druids, throwing down mass entangles, gripping things, and all those other techniques made the second phase of Opulence easier than it otherwise would have been with ad management of the leads appear in the middle and go out towards the edge.
So I didn't think it helped at all. Like the mass grip, they were all close enough that I was hitting most of them anyway.
Right.
The
We pulled the trigger early on those, but it still works.
The tangle. Okay, so they're not moving anywhere, but we were killing them fast enough it didn't really matter. I don't think we need to worry about that. But that's a internal raid thing. It was just AoE being what it is. I don't think they really need it all that much. Unless they do something crazy if they get something.
If they get out to the edge, it goes really badly.
Yeah.
So I wonder if an advanced mechanic was going to mean that you can't kill them right under the boss, but
maybe on heroic.
Yeah. Long story short is I feel like that the earlier raid fights, the way that we've gone this expansion, the team was on top of it. I mean, it was a non-issue.
Yeah, we went a couple times, but once okay, kill.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, kill. One shot. Oh, okay, kill. Like it took us. Opulence was the first one we had any real issues with, and that was because one side kept dying, except for like one or two people.
Yeah, and that part of that benefit is that Halland ran it with the chickens, and I ran it with Vex the night before we had our first raid night. So we had a quarter of our raid who had practical experience on the fights already. Means that's so huge. At least in normal. I mean,
yeah. I mean,
there's
when
people that cleared
bump it up.
week one.
Oh, there's people who have the achievement already for the mount, which I believe would be harder probably than week one heroic.
But I like it. I mean, it's new, so I like it anyway. But I don't have any complaints yet.
Yeah.
And there's pieces and chunks on Mechatork, so you haven't seen it yet. But he sends out these little robots. It's sort of a reverse of the monkey fight. It's a single target. It feels a little bit like a patchwork style fight, except that these lads go out and you can't do anything about them unless you're shrunk by a Mechatork shrink ray. And so you shrink down, and then you can get inside the other robots, and you have to defuse the robot, or else it explodes and damages you. Well, if a regular player steps on a shrunken player during that part of the fight, it deals mass damage and usually kills them. In Heroic, one player is enlarged, and if they step on a normal-sized person during that part in the fight, much less the small ones, it will kill them. So we haven't gotten there yet, but
I have a feeling that's going to be our raid team's roadblock for a while.
Heel?
Yeah,
because everyone's just going to want to step on other people.
Not even a want to. Barring getting the want to aside, whenever they take the fight seriously, it's just going to keep happening anyway. Because there are a few people who are mechanically, situationally challenged.
I suppose, but I'm sure
Most
that
of them
there's
are
going to be at
playing
least one or
hunters, but
two.
still.
I suppose at least one or two polls you're going to have people go full out troll mode.
Oh
because,
yeah, you're gonna
yeah, it's just the
It's
opportunity to just literally step on your
yeah.
friends is there.
I will say this right now: if it's a random selection of who gets it, and not who person gets picked, if
Yeah.
I get randomly selected, I am using my horse and running
And
over every single one of you guys.
I know. I was thinking that's what you were going to do. Oh, that's horrible.
I will just crunch all of y'all. And then whenever he attacks me, because there's no tank, I'll be like, Bubble Hearth. Because the entrance is right in town, right next to where I hearth to.
Oh, man. Sounds like a murder tramp drive-by.
Yeah. But, yeah, so... But anyway, you mentioned the cinematic at the beginning. A lot of people have been commenting it's weird that it's at the beginning and not at the end. Yes.
There's another cinematic after you kill Rastakhan. There's 3 cinematics in the first 5 fights.
Yeah, but usually you have a cinematic after you finish the raid.
Mm-hmm.
Barring all the other ones. There's usually one at the end. And someone made a comment, it was really weird seeing it at the beginning. It was amazing, but it was weird because there wasn't one at the end. And I just replied to them saying, that's Blizzard subtly saying the war is now officially started in the new zones. The next one, you might get usually when you get the cinematic at the end, you get that feeling of, okay, that's done.
Yeah.
That's why it's not
just
there.
Beginning.
Yeah, it's just now beginning on these lands.
So you get the other thing that's interesting about this raid that Blizzard's never done before is it is a 2-part raid.
No, 3-part raid.
No, I mean like there's the Alliance and the Horde part.
Yeah,
I mean,
you have the Alliance bosses, you have the Horde bosses, then you have the shared bosses.
Yep, there is a so for people who don't know, it's not a spoiler. This is not spoiler things, but so that both factions have access to the same raid content with just a little bit of flavor difference. What happens is, as Draven said, there's shared bosses, and there's Horde bosses, and Alliance bosses. So when you get done with King Rastakhan, you fly back to the ship. The raid's essentially done. You talk to an NPC, who's trying to explain what happened to the Alliance heroes during the fight. He says, "Oh well, we have a survivor who can tell you what happened." What that does is it ports you into, and I'm going to avoid spoilers yet because it's brand new. It ports you into a Horde race, and there's a race conversion chart. I was Worgen, so I became Troll.
I get to be a Blood Elf again. Because I play a human, which gets turned into undead. Except that I play a paladin, and undead aren't allowed to be paladins. So I get to be a Blood Elf.
So you get to play through fighting off Gelbin Mechatork, fighting through the Alliance blockade of ships, because obviously the Alliance ships are a problem. That's all I'll say about that. And finally, fighting Jaina, Proudmoore. Lord Admiral, High Mage, Jaina Proudmoore of the Kirin Tor of Borealis. So, the Horde get to do the opposite, where they go through, and those are bosses that they have to fight. They get transformed to fight Opulence, King Rastakhan, and they get a different version of the monkey, the gorilla fight. They fight the live version of the gorilla where we fought the dead version of the gorilla. I believe those are the 3 that are different. But that's interesting. So I get to use Berserker on my DK.
I'll get my Arcane Torrent. That took me so long to get used to not having. Because not so little known fact, my Paladin used to be a Blood Elf Paladin. Before I came to CTR and turned it into a human because extra rep.
So, once upon a time, I thought that Berserker and Blood Fury were the biggest reasons why the Horde racials are better than the Alliance racials as far as raid output goes in the World First race and just completing raids in general. Turns out Arcane Torrent is way up on the list for advantages. So I did not know that.
Yeah, it's basically for ad fights because Arcane Torrent usually does nothing to bosses. But look at fights like Zul we mentioned. Arcane Torrent, if you get tossed to the side, you can use Arcane Torrent. You can dispel the shield on those ads. That kills them.
And you get 3% of your mana back for every one of those dispels that landed.
Yeah, the problem is as a paladin, you don't go
Right, but other classes that are Blood Elf, it's
Blood Elf Mage.
Yeah, huge advantage for healing and DPS for those classes.
But yeah,
so
that's the one they're having issues with. They're still messing with it.
So what about you, Draven? Any other interesting notes on week 1 of the raid?
So far, it's pretty. It looks similar to because I do have Horde characters also, and I spend a lot of time in the town because I still get lost there.
Yeah.
Admittedly, it took me a while to not get lost in the Alliance one, but geez, it's a 3D puzzle for the Horde.
Oh, the Horde one? Yeah. I've ridden through there on Alliance.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's a freaking 3D puzzle. It looks similar. There are some changes, which is fine. Overall, so far, I like it. But then it's a new raid. I always like new raids, even when it first came out. I didn't have an issue with the trial, the Argent tournament raid. I didn't have an issue with that when it first came out because it was new. It was only after a couple weeks that I was like, okay, this is garbage. And even then, I didn't think it was garbage, but you get the point. So yeah, more info as I clear more. Hopefully next week we'll be able to say, hey, yeah, so this is what happens when you kill Jaina. Or do you kill Jaina? Probably not. Who knows? They haven't really said either way.
We won't go into those details this week.
Yeah. No, I mean, as it turns out, she's a Dreadlord.
I mean, you can't really kill her. And when you try, N'Zoth just comes up from the death. Never mind.
Yeah. I still say my favorite mechanic in the entire raid is the one I haven't seen yet in game. It's because it's on Jaina. When you bloodlust, she ice blocks.
It's smart, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I think that's the greatest. I mean, if there's a way to block her from ice blocking, that would be great. But
I'm just going to use my drums.
I know what you do. You go up with 5 Blood Elves, and they all Arcane Torrent at the exact same time. That keeps her from using her ice block.
I can't imagine that works, but
no,
then again, the Horde will be able to do something, and
yeah, that'd be fun. All right, so yeah, I'm having fun in the raid so far, even though half my side keeps dying to Opulence when he does his frontal cone of fire of death. But
oh yeah, that would be funny.
But yeah, so I'm gonna say that's probably a show. We actually went way longer than I expected for the amount of news we had. So, Galv, any shout outs? How do people get a hold of you, etc. and so forth? You should be used to this drill by now.
Yes, you can catch me on Twitter, Galvnid Online. You can also catch me streaming most raid nights, www.twitch.tv/Galvnid. And if you catch me in any sort of video game formats, whether it be Xbox, PlayStation, online games, mobile games, Discord, Blizzard games, whatever, it'll be Galvnid, and it's almost always going to be me. There's a couple of pretenders out there, but none of them are very active, so probably. As far as shout-outs go, I wanted to give a shout-out to Major Death, Dwayne, who just hit Legendary rank for the 5th time on Hearthstone, which he's the loved member of CTR, and a real nice guy, and so is Evil Annie, his significant, and they're both That's a big deal for him, I think. That's So congrats on your 5th time through Legendary. How about you, Draven?
Well, in terms of shout-outs, I guess the biggest one I can do this week is for the... I don't really know what to call them, so I'm just going to say the people I've been playing D&D with that are dealing with me being a first-time Dungeon Master. And that would be...
bless their hearts.
I know.
That's a shit gig for them.
Pretty much. Luckily, most of them have never played before or have never played this version, so they don't know when I'm screwing it up horribly. But it's Barf, Silver, Carrie, Zeph.
You got T this week, right?
Iggy. Turarch just joined.
Yeah.
It took a lot longer to get her into the game because I had this idea. I was like, she's like, I'd like to join, but you guys already started. I was like, how do you feel about this? And I sent her an idea, and she's like, that sounds amazing. I didn't give her all the details.
Right.
But it took longer to get to that point. So she was sitting there just watching and not doing anything, and I felt really bad for her because we started it was supposed to start at 7:30. Someone was late, so we started at 8, and it was like 10:30 before her character showed up. And I just messaged her. I was like, I am so sorry this is taking as long to get to you. I thought this would be a lot faster. And she's no, it's fine. She was learning, and whenever I got to her stuff, I told her what to type to roll because we're using Roll20 a little bit, and so we did that. She had the best entrance out of everyone. Like everyone else was just kind of there. They showed up. She showed up as a literal meteor. So
that's fantastic.
It took her a while to get there, but when she did, it had an impact. Pun intended.
A littoral meteor. No, a literal meteor. Not
yeah,
littoral. It was something else.
It was a custom spell that I did just to get her in the game for the narrative. But she was a meteor.
So I made her entrance.
I made her roll an attack roll for her entrance. If it was too low, she would have missed. They would have been screwed. But she rolled more than high enough to attack and hit. She killed everything but one thing out of the massive army that I put in front of them.
Nice.
And it was the boss, and they took a little bit of damage, but yeah. So now they found their way to the secret underground tunnel, so they think. I have to put that in there because they may or may not have. It might just be a small itty bitty cave. But I would never do something like that. I'm not that evil. Anyway. So yeah, they're going through. They just found a new area. It'll be entertaining. So I'm going to give my shout out to them people that I mentioned earlier because they're dealing with me being the DM, and while some of them are learning, I'm learning the DM thing. I there's some things I know I need to improve on, but they're dealing with it. We've been streaming it Friday nights whenever we play, aka last night. We had a ton of issues tech-wise. Discord was screwing up. Twitch was screwing up. My internet was screwing up. It was just so many things, and we kept trying. We kept going. Finally, we made it through really late. So, yay. So that's my long-winded shout-out.
That's a good one. I'm a huge fan of tabletop playing, and getting being able to play with those people. You know, it's hard enough to get a game together. The fact that you can use like Roll20 to do that over the internet, and then that you're casting it and stuff. Very cool. Good job on that.
Totally an original idea that no one else on the internet has ever thought of.
Well,
put a D&D game together and put it on the internet. I know what you're saying. I was being sarcastic.
Sure.
In terms of getting hold of me, over on Twitter, @DravenDresden. There's also our Discord, which I plugged earlier, bit.ly/epicfaildiscord. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/ every week I have to check this because every week I think I'm doing it wrong. Patreon.com/podcastepicfail. $1 a month, $2 a month, $5, whatever. It helps. It literally keeps the lights on, or light on, as my lighting is uneven. But
It's
it
not
helps.
just epic fail.
Yeah, it helps a lot, and I make fun of, we'll look at you like you're crazy, which is true. We'll thank you, which is true, but it does mean a lot. So I will say thank you for all the people who have done that. Subbing here to the Twitch channel is always appreciated also. It's free. We're going to do it for free. It's just the fact that people are willing to help out means a lot, and it helps way more than 99% of them know. So, thank you. And then I got to mention this because I forgot to last week. The music for the opening theme song is from over at bensound.com. It is licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0. Layman's terms, give them credit, tell people where to go. You can use it for your stuff. Everyone wins. Everyone likes it. Yay. So with that...
I was going to say, it's patreon.com/podcast epic fail.
Yeah. Said that. But thank you. So with that, I believe that is what is known as a show.
Yeah, it is.
Yep. So, as per usual, Galv, do you have any last words?
Who's scruffy looking?